how they jail a lot of Mexican boys, and yeah, no, I've never been jailed. I've done illegal things such as download things, got in trouble for that, but this one's called the School to Prison Pipeline. I was born on the wrong side of the border, halfway between the United States of America and South America. The middle country's marvelously corrupt deserts and tourist-filled beaches left their mark on my skin. The middle country, whose blood runs through my veins, whose children run through its mountains and bone-infested murky rivers, headed north for minimum wage at McDonald's, where skyscraper executives walk in and look down upon their sweaty brows and heavy shoulders. My family followed the same path. I grew up surrounded by people with predetermined futures, labels we were supposed to fill out, quotas we were supposed to meet, each placed nicely into a box with a shipping label to federal institutions or concrete jungles with quicksand properties, keeping them tied down in one place in which you'd have to turn over your shoulder constantly. In elementary school, we'd play Heads Up, 7 Up, and some kids lifted their heads to cheat by seeing who'd choose them. And at recess, we'd chase each other down to play foursquare handball. In middle school, we'd played suicide with some kids who would take the game so seriously that if you'd lift your head and witness fists raining down on you, and we'd chase each other down to tell some girl that someone you both knew liked her. It's just how it went. In high school, we'd play games with each other's hearts and play as though you didn't care about learning, and we'd lift our heads to keep watch that the police wouldn't catch the smoke, leaving our mouths, and we'd get chased by the cops when they'd raid parties. We'd walk on stage, and those who weren't there had already begun their downward path, donning their labels and cutting holes into the predetermined boxes so they could put their legs through and walk around while eyes branded them for life. There was a long summer prior to everyone heading off to their new prisons, in which we discovered how close we were to truly growing up. The food served in this new prison was ramen noodles, and the sleeping quarters were fairly sized, but you'd have to be wary of not getting a bad roommate. The noise could bother you sleep, and the hours were hectic. But to be honest, that was a luxury compared to what someone else has to endure. They apply for a job straight out of high school. The requirements are that you look a certain way, are okay with being ripped from your family, and have found yourself to have lived a tough life. You can't escape this job, and every employer will know you began there, all due to one minor slip you had when you were tangled with the wrong people. When I see someone's status update read, "Free, enter pseudonym here," like "Free Miguelito," I think of the kids named Carlos, or Miguel, that I knew when I was growing up, that went through the metamorphosis in a tub of broken glass bottles and broken mirrors, with blood stains gathering, and emerged with a weary look in their eyes from all the discrimination they'd endure in the future. I think of how the added melanin blinds badge-wearing vigilantes and architects of a mass production line whose endpoint is a life heavy regulated by the shackles around kids' wrists. See, I went through the same environment they did. They just saw an uglier face than I did. And I was taught to always follow convention and always stay under the boot. The only difference is that they saw everything a bit differently. And a different point of view shouldn't be awarded with changing their names to numbers in file cabinets, who only see their families through thick glass. There is one toll road we all take, and it isn't fair that the price is raised for some of us. During school, the only bars that should be relevant are the exams for becoming a lawyer. I know many people who have been issued boxes with a government stamp on them reading, "Handle however you want, as long as they're oppressed." And it's time we give these people some box cutters. Thank you.